If you suffer from anxiety or panic attacks, I bet you lead a double life. To the outside world, you pretend all is well, while inside you feel you're about to crack up. People who struggle with anxiety tend to be very intelligent, creative, and caring people. But I guess that's not how you see yourself. You probably beat yourself up for feeling anxious all the time and think you've some kind of defect. Well, I'm going to blow the lid on those misconceptions and teach you that anxiety and panic are not something you have to manage all your life, but can end. But first, I need to get something off my chest. Do you also find it frustrating to see so many so-called solutions to end anxiety on the internet? And yet all they're really teaching people is how to cope with the problem, not really how to end it. All the books and courses out there tell you the same thing in different ways. Breathe deeply and try and distract yourself. Think happy thoughts and then wait for the anxiety to pass. Well, let me tell you something. Anyone who has experienced a panic attack or high anxiety knows that deep breathing and distraction is not going to solve the problem. That's like closing the gate after the horse is bolted. It just doesn't work. People are not being given real solutions. All they're getting are band-aids that simply cover over the problem. But that does not mean that there is not a very real solution available. This almost unheard of technique has gone under the radar of doctors and psychologists for years, and yet one of the world's greatest psychiatrists, Dr. Viktor Frankl, thought it to be the only true cure for panic and anxiety. It's real psychology with a very unique approach to anxiety elimination. But before I say another word, I want to reassure you that I really do know what I'm talking about. For a start, I bet I can pinpoint exactly where you've been having a problem. Maybe you found yourself in the hospital's ER because you thought you were having a heart attack, only to be told later it was just anxiety. Maybe you fear you might stop breathing because your chest and throat feels tight. Maybe your bodily sensations during a panic attack are so intense you fear passing out. When you drive, do you fear getting stuck in traffic, on a bridge or at red lights? Maybe you feel nervous and afraid you might lose control or go insane in front of others. Or do you struggle with anxious thoughts that will not stop? Well, you can put that worry to rest right now because you won't. You will not be stuck with an anxiety problem forever. But you know the hardest thing about all of this is the fact that other people just don't get it. You tell them how terrifying a panic attack is and they think you're exaggerating. You explain about the continuous anxious thoughts you have and they remark, "Hey, I worry too." You tell them that you wake each morning with a sense of dread and they say, "Oh, come on, who is a morning person?" They simply don't get it. The weekend is coming up and your partner wonders why you won't go out for dinner. They say, "Oh, please, just do it for me." What they don't get is that sometimes you think you will actually die. The fear is so intense and that your mind is in such a fog, you wouldn't be comfortable for a minute. You really wish they could understand what you were dealing with, and when they don't, you feel even more alone and anxious. Well, I've got 3 things to say about this. The first is that you are okay. Yes, you have an anxiety problem that needs correcting. You wouldn't be watching this now if you didn't. That's why you surf the net looking for answers. That's why you constantly worry if this problem will be with you forever. You worry about the scary bodily sensations and if it's a sign of something more serious. You get a cold jolt of fear at the thought of losing control and getting locked up. It's all okay because you are perfectly safe. Anxiety is not a mental illness. It's a behavioral problem you can quickly correct with the right guidance and information. And remember, nobody dies from a panic attack. Any good doctor will tell you that your body is perfectly able to handle this heightened state of nervous arousal. You are safe. The second thing you need to give up is being so very hard on yourself. Anxiety is such a difficult thing to go through, so give yourself a little space and some compassion. You're not a weak person. This is a real challenge and you've been so brave up until now. You will in fact become a stronger person because of all this. So stop beating yourself up or feeling ashamed. You are truly brave and you matter to many people. Lastly, you will not be like this forever. Give up feeling like this is something you will always struggle with. I know how terribly frustrating it feels right this very moment and how hard it is to imagine a brighter future when feeling like this, but trust me, you have one. The good news is that you will win in the end. People who find me have often been struggling with anxiety for years and they always say, "I wish I found this technique years ago." Well, the good news is you are here now, and what if you are watching this presentation because it has come to you at the right and perfect time for you? What if you're here because you are finally ready to end your anxiety problem? Isn't that an exciting possibility? I'm not only talking about eliminating panic attacks, but also getting your general anxiety level right back down. This technique is based on advanced psychology made simple for everyone to apply. The purpose of this presentation is to let you know you can be anxiety-free again. That's our goal together. So listen to what I'm about to say. This is crucial if you are to seriously begin on the road to full recovery. It's a tip specifically for people with panic attacks. There is one key factor that makes the difference between those who fully eliminate panic attacks from their lives and those who do not. That key factor is when the individual no longer fears the thought of having a panic attack. Now, this may seem like a simplified and obvious observation, but give it careful consideration. The one thing that has you searching for a solution to anxiety and panic attacks this very moment is the fear of having another one. The first time a person experiences a panic attack, it can feel like their world is falling down around them. Nowhere feels safe as the anxiety becomes like a stalker lurking in the background. When this happens, people begin to either avoid situations that make them anxious, or they medicate themselves to the point where they're numb to the fear. I'm sure you'll agree neither of the above is a satisfactory solution. After a person experiences a panic attack for the first time, the experience can be so impacting that it leaves a strong imprint on the person's psyche. This mental imprint generates a cycle or loop of anxiety, whereby the person develops an unhealthy fear of having another panic attack. Now, people can spend anywhere from months to years caught in this repetitive cycle of anxiety. The really unique element of the technique is that there is no need for you to regress into your past and find out why you had your initial panic attack in order to get results. All that is needed is your willingness to break out of the anxiety cycle. Are you ready to try this right now? Just coping with this condition is simply not good enough. So you have to know that there is a very real solution to this problem. Do not keep coping with this condition, hoping it will just go away on its own. You must take action. And never let your anxiety trick you into thinking your case is unique and not curable. Let me ask you this. How will tomorrow be any different if you do not take action today? I know many of you fear taking action to end your anxiety in case you fail, and then you might feel even more desperate than before. But that is just the anxiety speaking, not the real you. I also know that many of you feel guilty about investing time and money in yourself and not your family. But you must realize that to be there for others, you have to be there for yourself. You can't help them if you don't help yourself first. Taking action and investing in you is an investment in a brighter future for everyone. Decide that today is the day for action, that today is the day you take back your freedom. This is about improving the quality of your life dramatically. In fact, this could be the most important decision you're about to make in a long time. You can have your freedom again. It's your birthright. It's just a matter of deciding to go after it. And remember, deciding not to act is also making a decision.